Greetings everyone, you're watching the channel Aviation Obsession. Hey travelers, ever wondered how government-owned airlines really work? Well, today's video is your ticket to uncovering the secrets of these unique carriers. We're diving into the world of state-owned airlines, counting down the top 10 based on the destinations they serve. It's about to get exciting, so fasten your seatbelts and let's take off on this adventure. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon for future videos. Without further ado, let's get started. Aeroflot, Russia's pride and joy, takes the 10th spot in our lineup. What's the scoop? Well, it's the flag carrier of Russia, and surprise, surprise, it's state-owned, with the Russian government holding around 73.7% of the shares. But here's where it gets spicy. 2022 shook things up with the Ukraine invasion and sanctions. Financial details turned into a mystery, and whispers say the airline has been reclaiming shares from creditors in those sanction-imposing countries. Before the drama, Aeroflot was flying high, serving a whopping 146 destinations, but recent events trimmed that down to 110. To top it off, their Sky Team Alliance membership is on pause. What's next for Aeroflot? Stick around to find out. Brace yourselves! At number 9, we've got Korean Air, and trust me, this one's a roller coaster. This airline, the pride of South Korea, takes you to a whopping 121 destinations with a fleet of 164 aircraft. But rewind to 1962, and it was the state-owned Korean Airlines. Talk about a glow-up. Now here's where it gets interesting. Ownership is like a rainbow swirl. The Korean government holds about 10% of the shares, and the state-owned Korea Development Bank manages a cheeky 3%. Hold tight, because the National Pension Service of Korea jumps in with another 7% of the shares. But wait, there's a plot twist. The airline's top shareholder, the Hanjin Kal Group, has government connections too, with the development bank clutching over 10% of their shares. And here's the cherry on top. Korean Air doesn't just stop at the gate. They share the love with their employees. A whopping 4.3% of the company is in the hands of the airline's own crew. Now, isn't that something? Now, coming in at number 8, we've got an interesting one. It's Vueling, a member of the IAG family. This Spanish airline is all about affordable flying and is based in the vibrant city of Barcelona. They've got a fleet of 125 narrow-body planes that whisk you away to 148 different spots. But here's the twist. Their state ownership doesn't actually come from Spain. It's from Qatar. Yeah, you heard that right. Vueling is part of the International Airlines Group, and Qatar's government holds about 25.4% of that group. While they don't have the final say, you could say Qatar has a say in this massive airline family. Cool, right? Coming in at lucky number 7, we've got Emirates. You know, the airline with those cool logos plastered all over their sleek planes. Well, here's the deal. They're all about Dubai, and they're 100% state-owned, with the Investment Corporation of Dubai calling the shots. By the way, there used to be a bit of a tiff with US airlines who felt the playing field wasn't level. But hey, that's water under the bridge, and they're all pals now. Back to Emirates, they're like the kings of the sky, with over 130 destinations on their map. And get this, they've got a fleet of more than 260 planes, including those fancy Boeing 777s and massive Airbus A380s. But wait, there's more! They're not just about flying, they've got their fingers in lots of pies. I'm talking investments in food, drinks, and fun stuff. In 2022, this whole empire raked in nearly $3 billion in profit. That's some serious cash, right? Alright, let's keep this flight moving. Coming in at number 6, we've got Qatar Airways. If you haven't heard of them, they're the big shots from Qatar, and they're 100% owned by the Qatari government. With a massive fleet of over 230 planes and flying to more than 170 different spots on the map, they mean business. In 2022, they scored big, making over $1.2 billion in profit, partly thanks to the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar that got travelers flocking. But hey, being fully state-owned has its moments. Remember that whole Saudi-led blockade thing in 2017? Yeah, Qatar Airways got caught up in that international drama, but they're still soaring high. Now, moving on to number 5, we've got Air China. They're like the heavyweight champs of Chinese airlines, part of the big 3 in China's aviation world. These guys are everywhere, flying to a whopping 201 destinations worldwide with a fleet of over 490 planes. And guess what? The Chinese government is the big boss here, holding a massive 53.4% stake in the company. But here's a twist. Cathay Pacific, the flag carrier of Hong Kong, also has a say in this airline with an 18.13% interest rate. But hold on to your seats. In 2022, they hit a rough patch, posting a record loss of $5.6 billion. That's a tough landing, but let's see if they can bounce back. Hold on to your berets, because at number 4, we've got a bit of a surprise. Air France. Yep, the classic French flag carrier is still rocking it with a fleet of 243 planes and serving over 220 awesome destinations. But here's the interesting part. It's part of the Air France KLM group, like a big aviation family with various investors. Now, the French government is in on this action, owning about 28.6% of the parent company. It might not be the captain, but it's definitely in the cockpit. And guess what? Other foreign carriers have their fingers in this French croissant too. China Eastern Airlines has a 4.7% slice, and Delta's got 2.9%. All right, now let's roll out the red carpet for our top 3 airlines. Landing at number 3, we've got China Southern Airlines. These guys are massive, with a fleet of over 650 aircraft flying to 216 cool destinations. But here's the kicker. The Chinese government owns a whopping 75.4% of this airline. They're basically running the show. And there's more. Other Chinese businesses chip in about 5%. But hold on, the Americans want a slice of the pie too. American Airlines has a 5.8% stake, and some US investment bigwigs like the Vanguard Group and BlackRock are also on board with 1.6% and 0.8% shares, respectively. But in 2022, they hit a bit of turbulence, posting a net loss of $2.5 billion. Let's see if they can soar back to profits. Coming in hot at number 2, we've got China Eastern Airlines, the 3rd major player in the Chinese aviation scene. These folks are like the global explorers of the sky, flying to a whopping 248 destinations around the world. They're mostly owned by the big shots in Beijing, with the Chinese government holding a 50.7% stake. But wait, there's more. Other state-controlled companies in China have their skin in the game, owning over 15% more of the company's shares. And guess who else joined the party? Delta Airlines, the American aviation legend, snatched up 9% of these shares. Even the US-based Vanguard Group, an investment heavyweight, wanted a piece of the action, with 1.6% of the company. But in 2022, they hit a bit of turbulence, posting a gross loss of $4.4 billion. Let's watch and see if they can make a comeback and start turning profits. And now, for the moment you've all been waiting for, the grand finale. Drumroll, please. Our biggest state-owned airline is none other than Turkish Airlines. These guys are like the travel ninjas, serving jaw-dropping 340 destinations worldwide. That's just a smidge behind American Airlines and United, but guess what? They're not state-owned. The Turkish government's Ministry Privatization Administration owns a nice chunk, about 49.12%, but they're not exactly the captain of the ship. The other 50.88% of the company's shares are traded publicly. In 2022, Turkish Airlines made a cool profit of $3.2 billion, and a good chunk of that went back to the Turkish government. With a fleet of 400 jets and loads of other assets, they're worth over $30 billion. So, while they're not fully state-controlled, they play a big role in putting Turkey on the world map and bringing in tons of tourists. Which of these airlines is your favorite? Let us know in comments. Thanks a million for tuning in. If you found this video as fascinating as we did, don't be shy. Hit that like button and make sure to subscribe. And hey, if you've got some cool topics in mind for our next video, drop them in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you.